Hello, in today's video we will be talking about storefront signs, pylon signs, parking lot lights, and security lights. Just a few questions to ask when a store calls in either one of these. This is an example of a pylon sign that is a multi-sign pylon. Even though a lot of the signs are missing from Hurricane Michael, you can see that it is a shopping center sign that often the landlord is responsible for the lighting and not the facing. We're almost always responsible for our facing, but oftentimes the power and the structure itself is the responsibility of the landlord. One of the important questions to always ask is, are we the only thing on the pylon sign? If we are, then more than likely we're responsible for the power and for the structure. It's also important to remember that pylon signs are always either the responsibility of the landlord or they are charged to CAM. A pylon sign is never connected to the store. That's why it's always important when the store calls in to ask, is the sign attached to the store, or is it a sign that is either on pylons or on a structure that is not connected to the store. When looking at a storefront sign, it's always important to remember that we are always responsible for the lettering and usually responsible for the power to the sign on the front of our store. Now, storefront signs are always the responsibility of maintenance, going to the revenue budget. So it's always important that we ask the question, is it attached to the building? If it's attached to the building, it is not CAM, and hardly ever does it belong to the landlord. Here is an example of a pylon sign that is only a tenant pylon sign. There's no other sign located on it for anything else in the shopping plaza, as this is a standalone store. This is always a Winn-Dixie responsibility and will always be a CAM charge. Anything that happens to this sign, whether it be power, whether it be facing, whether it be structure, whether it be lighting, whatever the problem is, it will be a CAM charge. Okay, now that we've discussed the types of signage, now the next thing we want to look at is the parking lot lights, canopy lights, and security lights. Anytime we receive a call on exterior lighting, always need to make sure, are they talking about lighting such as these wall packs here that are attached to the wall, or are we talking about lights that are on poles such as these parking lot lights, or are the lights underneath the canopy, which we'll look at in a few minutes at another location. Very important to determine this, because lights that are on the walls or attached to the building are a maintenance item. Lights that are in the parking lot, such as canopy lights, are CAM items, which will either be paid for by the landlord or out of the CAM budget. So it's very important to ask, is the light on a pole, is it attached to the building, or is it on some other structure away from the building? When we're dealing with parking lot lights, it's also always important to find out, is the light in front of our building, or is it in front of another shop that's within a shopping plaza? If it's a freestanding building, of course, they're all going to be in our parking lot. If it's in a plaza, a lot of times stores will call in lights that are in front of other buildings that we're not responsible for. The last lighting type we're going to talk about today is canopy lights. Canopy lights are the lights that are underneath the sidewalk that light up the underneath side of the sidewalk. These are usually a maintenance item or a landlord item. They're not CAM because they're attached to the building. So it's always important to ask how many of them are out, what area is out, and if they are underneath the sidewalk. They should never be logged on a call that's for interior lighting. Shouldn't be connected to it. They shouldn't be connected to signage, shouldn't be connected to wall packs, because they are an item of their own. The last question we always need to ask, or one of the most important questions we should ask, is there an immediate safety issue, and is it affecting the safety or security of the store, its associates, and its customers? Understand that whether it's one light out or multiple lights out is according to how they're out, where they're at, that makes the difference of how critical the issue is. Anyway, I hope today that this video was helpful, and hope it helps us to understand the questions to ask and the different things that we need to be looking at. Thank you.